have taken the president on a little tour of the area from the sky. As we know, that part of Collier County does still have a lot of flooding, a lot of destruction that can be seen from the air. So he may have gotten a little glimpse of that from the sky, and he will get it from the ground as well. All
right, there you see Vice President Mike Pence walking over towards one of the helicopters with, I'm not quite sure who those people are. I assume they're management directors and whatnot that have been handling the area closely. But Vice President Mike Pence is there right now talking to them.
Yeah, so we anticipate the president will get out of one of these other helicopters and they will get in an SUV. And as we've seen with these motorcades, it'll be a series of SUVs and they will drive through Naples to get to Naples Estates. As we saw outside Naples Estates, you know, when word gets out that a president and a vice president are going to be here for any reason, we always see people lining the streets, mostly supporters. They will get out and just to kind of see if they can get a glimpse of the motorcade, maybe a glimpse inside one of the vehicles as the president passes by. But again, this is what parts of Collier County look like right now on the right-hand side of your screen. It's devastating to look at this. Now, I don't know that that is specifically Naples Estates, but we do know from reports in Naples Estates that it looked something like this. I mean, it was trailer homes. These are small manufactured homes that were just ripped apart by the winds, and then the water came in to add insult to injury.
All right, they're opening the doors there with President Trump now exiting off Marine Force One, greeting the workers, and Vice President Pence on the ground with First Lady Melania Trump alongside.
And there's Governor Scott.
He just landed there a couple of minutes ago. Governor Rick Scott just behind him. So they rode together.
You know, it is worth mentioning again that this is a hurricane that in some ways did affect the president as well. His Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, I believe, had to be evacuated, and it did suffer a little bit of damage when the hurricane came through. Also, reportedly, he has a $17 million chateau on St. Martin, another island that took a good deal of damage from Hurricane Irma, and apparently that chateau had only minor damage, nothing too serious there.
You spoke about support for our president and people just wanting to come out and supporting the community. We are streaming live on our Facebook page, and some people are commenting, a lot of it very supportive, appreciating that the president is in town and not even wanting to know what he's doing here. They just really are appreciative that he's made the effort to come to Southwest Florida first.
Well, I think people appreciate the gesture, if nothing else. I mean, obviously FEMA is already at work, and to be honest, the governor and others have praised the federal government in not only the response to Irma, but also in the response to Harvey, saying how well organized it was and how the pre-planning went exactly to the book, and the resources were made available. For there's Congressman Francis Rooney on the ground there as well in the green shirt. We just he stepped in front of this man in the black shirt, but there he is. Yeah, Representative Diaz-Balart is there as well. But yeah, so a lot of praise for the federal government in response to both hurricanes, and so you know, people know that that aid is going to be there. People know that FEMA is going to help out. But I think it's a little extra to see the president and the vice president come, and all the attention that they bring with them, to just know that, you know, they're not going to be forgotten about, that the full force of the federal government is behind them and they have the support.
And President Trump earlier at RSW, when they were in the hangar, spoke about Governor Rick Scott, commending him for his work as we approach the days with the impact of Hurricane Irma, and said that the governor's efforts were outstanding. Governor also said that he was acknowledging, or Governor Scott acknowledged the military as well as our federal government for checking in. He really appreciated the president and vice president for checking in with Governor Scott every day.
All right, so I believe we have a little bit of sound. We're going to hear from somebody right here. Can we go to that now? You're listening in as folks greet the president and the vice president.
That's what tends to slow them down at times. Is you know,
they're popular guys.
Our own media folks, media types are wanting to take pictures and photo ops with the president and vice president.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear the governor a few minutes ago back at RSW talk about his relationship with the federal government before, during, and after Hurricane Irma. He praised the president and the federal government for their quick decisions. So giving the impression that, you know, if there was a decision that needed to be made, the federal government did it, and they moved on, and they were very decisive in what they were doing. He also said that the president has surrounded himself with outstanding people. Again, more praise for FEMA and the work that they're doing. He also said that the White House was in constant contact with the governor's office in the days leading up to and through Hurricane Irma. So
yeah.
It sounds like the communication was good. It sounds like they were working together to get things in place pre and post Irma.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, FEMA's been here pretty much right from the get-go, prepared to do what they need to do and get the federal resources that need, especially in the areas hardest hit, like the southern part of Collier County. And that's why the president's here, because he knows Marco Island was the second landfall after the Keys, and then Naples got hit really hard. And like Governor Rick Scott said, he has been promised the federal resources that we need to rebuild. He got that himself from President Trump.
Governor Scott also said he was just at the Keys. I believe he said he was in the Keys yesterday,
yeah.
And he talked about really that's the worst of it in the entire state. I've read something like 90% of the buildings there took some kind of damage, and more than half took significant damage. So just a heartbreaking scene in the Keys. Okay, so what you're seeing here is this is the presidential motorcade that we always hear about, and they will get that police escort to Naples Estates, where the president and the vice president and others will survey the damage there. They will meet with people that were that lost everything, quite frankly, during the storm, during Hurricane Irma.
Yeah. So a lot of quick handshaking and some waving and some photo ops there, but it seems that the president now is in his Suburban for the motorcade to head over from the Naples airport to meet Hurricane Irma victims, especially around that Naples Estates areas where we heard he was going.
And now might be a good time to remember how much damage there is out there. You know, almost every hour it seems like more people are coming online, getting their power back, especially in places like Lee and Charlotte County, parts of it at least, life is going back to normal, but especially in places like Everglades City and Immokalee and Marco Island and the Keys and Naples, still such a long way to go. The latest numbers that we have from the Florida Emergency Management Service, in Collier County, 66% of the people who have power, who buy power, don't have it right now. 66% of the people without power. That's 162,000 people. In Lee County, because it's a more populous county, even more, 265,000 people without power right now, about 60% of the population.
I mean, those are huge numbers. It's like you talk about the majority of people without power, people whose homes are destroyed. As we look at this area of Naples, talking about submerged homes, roofs that are completely off the house. You can't even see the road, the driveway, completely flooded. And some folks can't even get into their homes. We understand at least through Lee County, 600 people are still without a home. 600 people are having to use shelters. I think there are 3 shelters across Lee County, at least, that are still available for hundreds of people. Right now, taking a live look at across the street from the Naples Estates, a trailer park where mobile homes, several of them, if not dozens, were completely destroyed. And that's why the president's heading to that area. It's one of the worst places.
Yeah, and you know, if you or I were driving from the Naples Municipal Airport to this location here, it would take us about 15 minutes or so. It's about a little under 6 miles. They're going to take Airport Pulling Road, Davis Boulevard, and Country Barn Road. But because of the president's motorcade, they'll make that trip a little quicker.
Bit, yeah.
They won't have to stop for any lights or anything like that. And what happens is the local police and the sheriff's office will clear the roads for them, so they'll be able to move right through those streets without any traffic or anything like that.
That is a big effort. You have police, you have FHP troopers, Collier County Sheriff's Office, That's just, and then of course you have your Secret Service there, all in that motorcade. So, yeah, they'll clear traffic out of the way and get there sooner than later.
And it's worth noting, it looks like we're being held across the street right now. Actually, here we are live inside the motorcade. Okay, this is great. So this is a live picture of the motorcade. As we mentioned before, the motorcade involves so many different people, so many different agencies, mostly law enforcement, but also the media that travels with the president wherever he goes. And so that's what this camera is right here. So you're seeing them drive through. Let me see if I can recognize any streets or anything like that. Like I said, it's going to be
the
airport,
side streets leaving the airport.
Pulling Road to Davis Road.
What is that right there?
I couldn't quite see, but I know they're going to probably go down Country Barn Road and Rattlesnake Hammock.
They're on the main road now, and it looks like, so this is from a press vehicle. It says they're on the windshield, press 1. You can only imagine how many press cars are in that motorcade.
Yeah, quite a few, I would imagine.
But following them with their flashing lights and being able to just go past the traffic lights without an issue.
Yep, and this looks like we may have some supporters there. There we go. Yep. Look at that.
As expected.
Yeah.
Spectators lining up the streets waiting to catch a glimpse of the president. Okay.
Yeah, so our Four Near Corners Carl Fortier, excuse me, is live at the scene right here at Naples Estates. Carl, what can you tell us?
What?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm here. We're positioned with all the other media on the south side of Rattlesnake Hammock, looking across to Naples Estates, where the president and vice president are going to. Sorry, officer is talking to us here. They are going to visit with the residents, tour this damage. You can't really see a whole lot from here. I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit, and you can see that there is some damage on some of these homes. This officer is kind of in front of some of that, but I drove in from County Barn. As you were describing the route, he is going to likely take County Barn Road. That's the closest intersection to here, and then enter from Rattlesnake Hammock. But from County Barn, that's where you can really see that the property here backs up to County Barn Road. And that's where you can really see the damage. It's all kinds of, a lot of what the rest of us are seeing is broken trees, but lots of twisted metal from these homes. It's just so hard to identify whether it's, parts of roofs or carports or sheds or what have you. But I'm actually going to show pan over here. You can see some of this from Rattlesnake Hammock. This is kind of part of what you can see. Just one example of. But a lot more widespread damage inside this community, which we'll be able to probably show you a little bit after the president and vice president leave this area. But for now, we're all just a lot of media here, kind of on the south side, a lot of spectators on the south side of Rattlesnake Hammock, just kind of waiting for a glimpse of the motorcade. And as soon as we get that, I'm sure we'll take this live.
And Carl, I have a couple quick questions for you. I assume that since you all are on the other side of the road there, that Secret Service is keeping you out of that subdivision right now. Is that right?
Yeah, we can't go in there until the motorcade leaves with the president and vice president. Right now, they're keeping media out certainly, and they've got some. I'm going to zoom in over here. You can see that they have officers and canines, checking any vehicles that I imagine they're only letting residents in, checking all those vehicles that do want to enter this community.
And Carl, you just showed us all the media there, so I don't know that you've had a chance yet to kind of talk with any regular folks who are just out there to see the president's motorcade. I'm just curious if they've been able to tell you what having the president here means to them.
I haven't really had a chance. I've been kind of pulling double duty. I'm just kind of been doing the technical aspects and setting up the live shot. Haven't really had a chance to talk with many people other than other media that are covering this. But yeah, obviously there's the people you can't. It's kind of hard to see them. They're kind of down this line, kind of waiting for the president. They're kind of mingling in with us, holding signs, saying "Welcome, President Trump," and that sort of thing. But obviously there's a lot of great anticipation for this visit and appreciation that he is visiting to kind of take a look at some of the damage firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure people do appreciate that, and even in the motorcade, we took the live picture from the motorcade a few minutes ago. We could see people standing along the road as the motorcade went by, waving to the president. Very obviously happy that he is going to be here. And on the right side of your screen, that's exactly what this is. This is the motorcade, and very shortly we'll be turning into the Naples Estates right here, which is on the left side of your screen. And look, right there, almost on cue. Is that a person in the road? No, that was a police officer.
Yeah, passing by. And Carl, I mean, Naples is your area of your focus, your expertise in the days before today. What has it been like since you've been there since before Irma hit?
Well, I guess it's like a lot, other communities in Southwest Florida. Just everybody kind of, kind of nervous in anticipation and preparing. We all remember it seems like a distant memory now. People, the shortages of plywood trying to board up their homes, and now since the hurricane hit, maybe it wasn't as bad as ever predicted, but still it's pretty bad when you have so many people without power. I was in Everglades City yesterday, and I tell you what, those folks really got hit hard. People were shoveling mud out of their homes because they had about 3 to 4 feet of storm surge, even up into the middle of town. So, different areas got hit in different ways, but certainly these mobile home parks, such as here in Naples Estates, are really got hit hard.
Oh yeah, destroyed. Yeah, we saw those pictures you got in Everglades City. It's only something that pictures can capture. You don't even have the words. You don't believe it until you really see it.
And Carl, in that case, in Everglades City, let's just talk about that, because that was one of the hardest hit areas. I mean, is it a matter of pretty much that entire town just took some kind of damage?
Well, yeah, it's Everglades City and Chocoloskee, which is a small neighborhood on an island just south of Everglades City. I spoke to a couple of people. There are some homes on sort of an elevation, if you can believe it, that there's even some elevation there in that low-lying area. But there were some homes that did escape, but many, if not most of the homes there did suffer some kind of storm surge damage. And like I said, there's just mud and silt everywhere. The water receded, but left quite a mess. And those folks really need some help, because nobody has any power there unless they have, they're on a power, have a generator. But they really need some help down there. They're waiting for FEMA. They need supplies. There was a supply drop off with water and toiletries and food and other items, but they need so much more down there, and I really feel for those folks.
Absolutely. Talk about the fuel. What is the fuel availability? What is that looking like there now these days?
Well, on my way down here, there are certainly stations here and there that do have gas. I passed a few very long lines that, just blocks long of lines. It's even hard to estimate how long the lines were, but certain stations, whoever has gas, people know about it either through gasbuddy.com or from word of mouth. And those lines form quickly, and especially during the daylight hours, the lines are long. I try to fuel up what I can after hours, but that can be kind of tricky, with a curfew in effect. So it's fuel is as scarce here as it is anywhere, and just a lot of people just anxious for things to get back to normal and be able to fill up without having to wait in a long line.
All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching live breaking news coverage on Fox 4 of President Donald Trump's visit to Southwest Florida. He is in Naples right now. On the right side of your screen, you see his motorcade. We are live inside that motorcade as he drives from the Naples Municipal Airport to Naples Estates. That's where Carl Fortier is live for us. That's whose voice you hear with us right now. The left side of your screen is that subdivision, that Naples Estates subdivision, essentially a trailer park that was really ravaged by Hurricane Irma. A lot of wind damage, and we're told water damage as well. And Carl, I'm curious, you were just talking about the gas, and your live shot earlier to the left, we saw what looked like power crews. Oh, here comes the motorcade right now. We saw the power crew, what looked like a cracked utility pole there, an electric pole there. Do you have any idea if that part of Naples has power right now?
I'm sorry, Chris, did you ask me something?
I did, yeah. Do you know if that part of Naples
I lost
has...
it for a second.
Yeah, do you know if that part of Naples has electricity right now?
Yeah, here comes the motorcade right now, Chris. It looks like, but I did speak to one resident I forgot to mention earlier. He said he does not have power. He does not live in here, but he lives in some apartments across Rattlesnake Hammock from this mobile home unit. He said he still does not have power, and he isn't sure when he's going to get it back.
Okay, good. So you're looking live right now as President Trump's motorcade has just made its way into Naples Estates, that community that was hit so hard. We apologize, our picture breaking up a little bit right now. Part of what happens here is that technology, the way we're able to bring you those live pictures is cell service. And
sometimes it freezes.
Yes, and when the president is around, there are a lot of people using their cell phones, and the Secret Service, of course, using theirs as well. So our picture may break up a little bit, but there you see it.
Like you said, they went there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
With that escort, it definitely helps. So about 6 miles away from the airport, and then headed to Naples Estate. So arrived in just less than 10 minutes or so. Wasn't too bad, but yeah, they keep on pouring into that development.
We do have a camera in one of those, I believe it's probably one of those white vans, one of those press cars. And so we'll see if we can get a live picture. I'm not sure what the rules are once our camera is able to get out and get with the president.
I wonder what's in these, the vans, these white vans?
That's my guess.
Carrying
that's just
potentially.
a guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So what we expect from here is that the president and the vice president will get out. You have to assume that the Secret Service has gone through the community. They've vetted certain members of the community to speak and have photo ops with the president. And we expect the president will just kind of take a tour of the area. He'll talk with the people, ask them what they need, likely tell him that they have the support of the federal government and of him personally.
And again, a gesture much appreciated by many. Just looking at some of the comments on our Facebook page. We are streaming live on fox4now.com, as well as our Facebook page and the Fox 4 app. You just saw Collier County paramedics pull there over to the side, and then police out in front as well. So they have this area surrounded for any incident that may occur. I can imagine they are prepared for anything at this point.
Yeah, we just heard from Carl a few minutes ago. Carl, one of our great reporters, and we have so many of them that are on the ground that have been doing such a wonderful job of covering this story for you. They've been everywhere. Trust me, they're working long hours trying to get to as many different places as possible to tell your stories, what you're going through with Hurricane Irma. And we heard him describe the devastation that he has seen just yesterday in Chokoloskee and Everglades City. It's just in his words. Yeah, in his words, these people need help.
From the pictures we saw, I mean, it looks like a war zone. I mean, it's just crushed, destroyed. There's nothing left. Yeah. Running low on food. There's no to little power in those areas. But again, here outside the Naples Estates, I mean, they received plenty of damage as well. Right now being guarded by Secret Service and other law enforcement.
Yeah, interesting. You can see, just from my own observation, you can see those American flags right there displayed pretty prominently. So yeah, this is something else that happens when the president is around and the media is parked behind him. They all run to get to where he is. So that's what you're watching right now. There's a live look on the right side of your screen of our pool camera trying to catch up with the president. It's a lot
He's fast moving. He's getting
well, he has a head start too. So you all have to catch up. So and already you can see some damage here. I know our photographer is mainly just trying to get his or her bearings and find the president. But even so, you can see, wow, you can see that crane in the background there. It looks like a lot, like maybe a home totally destroyed. I believe that's what that is. kind of piece of equipment, maybe not a crane, of course,
Right.
but
That part of the roadway, at least flooding not an issue for that section.
Yeah,
Can't
at
say
least-
the same, for the whole development. We haven't seen it yet.
right. Or if it was,
Then it, quickly
the water
drain.
has
Oh,
gone
there's
down.
storm drains right there in the middle of the road.
look at the
but-
right side of your screen. You can really see some of those houses just demolished. It looks like.
But it looks like media types are just getting stationed in front of the president, waiting for him to walk to that area. It's interesting to see. It's almost a behind-the-look scene of how media prepares for the president's visit.
Sure, yeah. Everybody's got to get set up and in their spots, and to some degree, it is staged. We all have to kind of get in our spots, and that woman there in the blue shirt seems to be directing everybody. So we will see what the White House wants us to see, and when they're ready for us, we will be able to see it. But the president will no doubt be meeting with victims, people who live in these communities. And if we know anything about this president, he speaks from the heart. He speaks what he truly feels, and so we can expect that he will be genuine with these people and when he speaks with them.
Left side of the screen, just outside of the development. That's what you're seeing on the right side of the screen. All the activity now inside. And is that Vice President
that was the
Mike
Vice
Pence there
President,
in
yeah.
the distance in the dark blue jacket? So his back was turned to us, but we expect him to walk down this way shortly. Don't
Yes.
see neighbors out.
No, and I guess this is for safety reasons on multiple levels, but for the president's safety and for the safety of the people because of all of that debris out there. I'm sure this is going to be carefully orchestrated, and so the people who are allowed to be here and who are planned and vetted to meet with the president, I'm sure they'll get to do that, and everybody else is being kept away.
All right, there he is. Walking to the White House, and there are some neighbors out
See if
there
we can hear
sitting on the
anything.
front lawn.
Kept too far back for us to hear anything. But yeah, it looked like 2 or 3 people kind of sitting on the porch right there, waiting for the
Waiting
president.
for him,
And he
yeah.
walked right over to them.
And this is what he's expected to do. He is going to be here for less than an hour before he's scheduled to go back to RSW. So a short visit here in Southwest Florida, but he is headed back to D.C. just after 1 o'clock today.
In some ways, I think that's by design. That was a big. He made a big issue of that before he went to visit the Harvey victims, is that he did not want to get in the way. He didn't want to hamper. Obviously, you see how much attention is paid when the president goes anywhere. He didn't want to hamper any relief efforts or stop the important work that power crews and cleanup crews are doing right now. So he wanted to make sure that he kind of stayed out of the way, but was also able to deliver the message that he wants to deliver, which is, I'm here with you. The federal government is here with you.
All right, we're going to try to listen in right now. President Trump, Vice President Mike Pence are walking along with Governor Rick Scott.
You're not going to be there when he walks by, are you? You're all right. Move back, we're moving, please, back.
Here on Elwood is where we have some of our guys. Let's try to get how much the hurricane really
A lot of credit. Back and forward, let's go. Come on now, right here.
Yeah, so if you've never been a part of this, it does look like a little bit of an uncomfortable situation, the way that the media kind of rushes around the president. But everybody's trying to document what's happening. Everybody wants to know what's being said.
All right, talking to some neighbors right now.
We have they're never going to get back.
Back, guys, back. We need to go back to the side of the town.
I have
Back, Mr. President.
Yeah, this is Bobby.
How you doing, Mr. President? Thank you so much. Mike, thank you so much, Bobby. Putting up the flyers. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, he's been wonderful. Helping us. We're out of town.
Yeah, you okay? welcome. Thank you so much.
We're so grateful to you guys.
Thank you so much. Francis, thank you.
That's a lot of
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
A lot of plywood. We'll be covering up roof, like leaks and stuff, just to get them by in case of rains or something like that. Fantastic job. Taking care of the community, standing out. So he's working hard and you're working.
Yeah, so still, it can't really hear the conversations that the president is having with folks. Oh, here we go.
Went through something that I guess the likes of which we can really say nobody's ever seen before. They've never seen a category like this coming because it came in really at a 5. And all you have to do is look at what happened in the Keys. But we love these people, and we're going to be back, and we're going to help. And the job that everybody has done in terms of first responder and everybody has been incredible. And by the way, that includes the people that live here, because you see the people immediately getting back to work to fix up their homes, like Bobby and like some of the others. So I just want to tell you, we are there for you 100%. I'll be back here numerous times. I mean, this is a state that I know very well, as you understand, and these are special, special people, and we love them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We're going to end this way.
Okay, some brief remarks there by the president. You know, it is kind of, with all the people around, everybody fighting for position, has to be difficult to have a genuine moment with some of these residents and connect with them. But we did see the president shake hands. It looked like he said something funny that made those residents kind of laugh.
He was on a first-name basis already with that homeowner, Bobby, I guess his name was, and that homeowner was hugging Senator Marco Rubio. We're going to go over to Carl Fortier now that he spoke to someone who was waiting for President Trump.
Yeah, I'm here with a resident who lives in the apartments I was talking about earlier. They don't have power on the south side of Rattlesnake Hammock. This is Tex. He lives in the Gulfview Estates. Is that correct?
Gulfview Manor 2, number 2.
And just kind of you've been out here, kind of waiting to see the president. Is that why you're out?
Yeah, I'm just really happy. At least made an effort to come down here and say something. You know, most people aren't that nice.
Where did you ride the storm out at?
Mississippi.
Oh, so you were out, say, when you came back here, what was your reaction to see all this?
It was pretty wild. Never seen anything like this before in my entire life. It seems like, you ever seen the movie Twister?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of what it's like.
Okay.
Never seen this many trees blown down in my entire life, I can tell you that at least.
You know, the president and the vice president have made a point on coming down here to kind of tour the damage. I mean, do you think they're, I mean, obviously, you know, they also made an effort to go see the Hurricane Harvey aftermath. Does it mean a lot to you that they come down here to at least take a look and see?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's a good morale boost. You may not like him, but at least he's doing his job.
What you know, I'm sure you've had a chance to kind of see. We can't see it from here per se, but there's a lot of damage on the backside of the Naples Estates where they're touring right now. Is that? I mean, do you know anybody in there?
No, I don't. Not at all.
What kind of damage have you guys sustained? Any damage where you are?
Here we got no power, and then my parents' place, we got a window blown in. We got lucky with that. That's it. Okay. We got pretty lucky this storm.
Very good. All right. Well, thanks so much, Tex. And guys, yeah, just a lot of people kind of like a lot of people like Tex out here, just kind of hoping to catch a glimpse of the president and vice president as they tour the area, as they at least come and go from Naples Estates, but. Yeah, lots of damage that they're looking at inside there that we can't see from my shot, I'm sure.
Yeah, we are getting a pretty good picture inside your vantage point, Carl. Thank you very much. And we're going to try to listen in to see if we can hear the president speaking now. Camera back a little bit right now, but this is something we saw in Houston as well. The president and the first lady handing out food to people. Obviously, And it's something that is going on in a lot of places in Southwest Florida right now. The unbelievable donations that have been coming in. There is certainly a need for food and water right now, and so the President and the First Lady will be handing that out. You know, Jenny, it was interesting to hear from the person that Carl just spoke to talk about a morale boost. You know, it has been a very, very difficult week here in Southwest Florida. So many people going through so much right now. And to see the President here, to know that he cares, to know that the federal government is watching and that the world is watching and that we have their support, you know, you can understand how that would be a morale boost.
Yeah, he said, I don't care what your politics are, he's here, and it's nice to see that. You see the President, the First Lady, and the Vice President there, and our Governor all in full force and in a united front under this canopy, serving out food and bananas and water and bread. It's lunchtime. And so these people are actually smiling as they're collecting some, it seems like to be rations of food here in Naples, right there in the Estates.
Yeah, possibly getting a sandwich or a wrap or something like that. Can't quite tell. So we did hear the President a few minutes ago. He says the people here in Southwest Florida, specifically there in Collier County and Naples, went through something that virtually nobody else has ever been through, a Category 5 storm that was as forceful as Irma was. He says, we love these people, and we will be back, saying that there will be more visits to our area to check up on how we're doing. You know, he praised the workers who are out doing such a good job right now, the power workers, the cleanup crews, that kind of thing. But he also took a second to single out Bob, one of the men that he met in front of Bob's house, and he said, you know, that he was touched by the way that people like Bob were just going out and doing it themselves. There was a job to do, there was a cleanup to do. So it's not just the workers out there that are helping, it's the individuals who are working, you know, 18 hours a day probably, trying to clean up their own property as well.
Resilience. Once this storm passed, as soon as we could clean up our homes and our property and get back to normal, that's what people want. And it seemed like Bob was happy introducing his wife. His wife smiled and was happy to see the President. So again, I mean, you see these people smiling. Talk about a morale boost. It appears that they're just happy they're being acknowledged and having some attention.
Yeah, it appeared like the President made a joke with Bob. Everybody kind of laughed. So it is you see the President and the First Lady there. There is the Vice President there. We understand that Karen Pence is with the Vice President as well. We have also seen Governor Scott, of course, in the background at points today. We've heard from Governor Scott as well. We've also seen Senator Marco Rubio and Congressman Francis Rooney as well.
So we're seeing just people get in line and shake hands, take a little picture.
Yeah, no shortage of selfies there, huh?
No, not at all. All right, we're going to try to listen in once again to the President.
Good to meet you, God bless you. Like this guy right out there. Thank you. Take care. Are you okay? I'm back here. You want to? We're going to be here till it's all the way back. Okay. I'm a you resident here? Are you working? Keep it up, huh? You do a lot of stuff. Glad you're okay. God bless you. How are you doing? God bless you, sir. Turn around. Oh, these guys. Look. I'm on the first. Let's make America great again. Come here. God bless you, sir. God bless. Don't forget to take. I got that. Thank you, sir. Great job. You're wearing a good shirt. Thank you. God bless you. Good job, sir. Governor Scott. God bless you all. Thank you, sir. Bikers might, you know. Absolutely. The bikers, I think we got it. They love you all. Don't forget to take a sandwich. I have had one. Very strong, right? Moving fast. Thank you.
Right here. A lot of smiles there right now. It's been a difficult time for those people. Many of them have lost everything, but they are smiling now that they have the support of the president. Fran saying, the president and VP in Naples Estates, thank you. And we heard that from somebody that our Carl Fortier spoke with as well, saying that after seeing all the destruction that Irma has done, this is a bit of a morale boost, no matter what your politics are, to see the president here in town, to see the vice president here in town, to be this close to them, to know that that you have the attention of the federal government and the president, that it feels a little bit better. So he's meeting with people right now in Naples Estates. This is right off of Santa Barbara Boulevard and Rattlesnake Hammock Road. This is an area that took a lot of damage, both wind damage and water damage from Hurricane Irma. And we saw the president take a brief tour of the area to see some of the damage, spoke to two families right at their doorsteps, and now is under this tent with the First Lady and the Vice President handing out food. Let's see if we can hear a little bit more. All right, it looks like they're moving us out of the area right now. The president may be wrapping up his appearance there. I want to tell you again about what the president said. First, let me tell you, on the right side of the screen, that's our live camera that is inside Naples Estates. Looks like we're being moved out of the way. We'll keep that there. On the left side of your screen, that's our camera outside of Naples Estates. That's what it looks like from the front, and even from there. I want to just point out on the right side of your screen a big American flag. There's also a flagpole on the right side of your screen. That is also flying an American flag, two important symbols right now in that area. So we did hear the president make a few brief remarks here at Naples Estates. He said that the people here who live here went through something that basically nobody else has ever been through. Potentially an exaggeration there. This was a strong storm when it hit the Naples area, and it did cause a lot of damage. It caused much more damage in the Florida Keys, for example. But you get the point. This was an extremely powerful storm that did a lot of damage, and these folks, some of them who didn't evacuate, lived through it. He also said, we love these people, speaking about the residents of Southwest Florida who have taken the damage. We love these people, and we will be back, meaning he, the vice president, are not going to forget about these people or the damage that was done there. He praised the workers, the rescue workers, the people who are cleaning up right now, the power crews, but also the individuals who live here, who are getting out right now with their shovels and their saws and trying to clear away the trees and trying to clear away all the debris and damage so they can prepare to build again.
Yeah, and just neighbors being good neighbors, helping each other out. And we saw stories from South Florida all the way up to the northern end of the state, with folks helping each other out, sharing generators, donating a generator that they otherwise would have had for themselves, a nun with a chainsaw knocking down trees and loose limbs there in Miami-Dade. And again, with the president saying, we were preparing for a Category 5 hurricane even before it hit Marco Island, so strong there in the Keys. And then right at the last minute, it didn't stay along the water, it just stayed across land, which weakened it by the time it got to Southwest Florida, but still so strong. I mean, look at that destruction there, just leveling some of these homes. Some are completely underwater, and it just looks like it's going to take a long time for it to clear. On the right side of your screen is a shot from our Carl Fortier, who is across the Naples Estates. He was there before the motorcade. President and Vice President, as well as the governor, arrived there to see those Hurricane Irma victims. So we're just waiting for the motorcade to exit out again, but it looks like it's nice and clear. Just kind of calm. There's the chaos right there.
Right.
As they load up their vehicles again.
Yeah, everybody gets in.
Getting ready to depart.
Again, I want to go back to Facebook Live. We are there right now. A lot of people watching us on Facebook Live, a lot of people commenting, and this one just kind of stood out. Miriam says, "Together we stand. That's what America is all about." And, you know, I think that's the message the president certainly wants to get across today. As we know, there has been a lot of controversy in his presidency, and I believe he sees this as a way to kind of bring the country together. Not all the controversy his own making, of course. We've seen a lot of divisiveness in our country of late. He's hoping that between Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma, that this is something that can rally Americans to come together, and I think that's a big part of his trip here to Southwest Florida today.
Yeah, whether a political move or not, I mean, you did hear the one fellow who Carl was talking to said this is a gesture, a morale boost, and something that they appreciate there. You saw people in line getting their food from the president and vice president and our governor just saying thank you and, you know, wishing them good blessings and saying come back. They'd like the president to come back here, which he will do. President mentioned that, you know, he has a strong connection to the state, of course, with his Mar-a-Lago estate on the east coast of our state.
And the governor has a strong connection to Southwest Florida, so I imagine we will see the president back again because they are so close. And the Governor Rick Scott, made some comments at RSW a little while ago. Interesting kind of things that we hadn't heard before. Just his connection to the federal government and the president while all this planning for Irma and the storm was actually coming by. He praised the federal government and the president for their quick decisions. He said they acted quickly. Once they made a decision, they went full force, and they gave all the support that the state needed. He praised the president for surrounding himself with outstanding people. That's another thing that we've heard since these two hurricanes have hit Texas and Florida, is that the response from FEMA has been excellent. And he also said that the White House was constantly calling the governor's office to check in both before and during the storm. So it's good to see that communication was there. Yeah,
and to the governor's credit, I mean, President Trump was commending him for his work and said it was just outstanding and was there before, during and after the storm, trying to prepare our state for this imminent disaster. Didn't know how bad it was going to get, but that we were going to receive some definite destruction across our state, and trying to at least limit that as much as possible, whether it be evacuating people out of the state as soon as possible, or preparing your homes, or you know, making sure we listen to our local officials, trying to get fuel to the gas stations before Hurricane Irma, and keeping those gas stations open as long as possible, and then trying to get fuel back to as many gas stations as possible, as soon as possible, I should say. Still working on those power outages, and that is going to be an ongoing effort here until the 22nd, no later than the 22nd, hopefully. Yeah, that's what Florida Power and Light is hoping, to have all the power back by the 22nd. The numbers are getting better, but they are still pretty bad. Collier County, 162,000 people without power. That's 66% of the county. In Lee County, 265 customers without power. That's 60% of the county. So still in Lee County, 6 in 10 people without power. We know that the crews are working hard on it right now. Okay, so we know that Four Corners' Carl Fortier is live. You see his picture right there. Carl, what can you tell us?
Was advocating for early childhood education.
Yeah, it looks like they might be starting to get back in these vehicles. I'm kind of far back, as you can see from this this long shot, but it looks like they're starting to wrap up and maybe getting ready to head back out. Not sure which route they are going to take out of here. They came from the west side of Rattlesnake Hammock to enter here, the motorcade. So I'm not sure if they're taking that route back, but still people are just, residents who are still kind of lining the streets here on the south side of the road are still, along with mingling in with media, just kind of They're trying to get some pictures. This woman here has her iPad, it looks like, trying to get a picture. Even some media are trying to get some of their own photos as well. And there are some, you can't really see them, but if some folks are holding up signs of support and thanking the president and vice president and first lady for making this visit here to Naples and kind of examining and getting a first-hand look of some of the worst damage in the Collier County area.
Saw from your shot there, Carl, looks like the storm clouds are on their way. We know that rain is expected in parts of our area this afternoon, kind of going back to that summertime weather pattern where we get rain in the afternoon. I'm glad to see that the president could make his appearance and get out of town before that rain came, but that's going to be bad news for all the work crews out there trying to get something done.
Yeah, even just individual homeowners trying to finish cleaning up and still have some water leaks, and that's going to take a while to repair. So yeah, the rain not our friend right now. But we're seeing the motorcade just leave Naples Estates, as you can see there, making the right turn out of the development. Road is obviously blocked for that to take place, and he's pushing everyone back to the this side of the sidewalk from where Carl is.
Yeah, very serious work they do. I mean, obviously this is a very important person. They need to make sure they do everything they can to protect him, and this happened when we saw the president and his motorcade come in too. They must be doing something with the cell service right there. That's how we get our live shot from that camera. So we're losing it, but I'm sure it'll go back in just a second. But what you're seeing is the motorcade leave Naples Estates, the community where the president was just visiting, and they will go now back to the Naples Municipal Airport. About a 6-mile drive, I guess, depends on which route they take. Looks like they're taking a different route because they came in from the other direction when they got here. So about 6 miles, I'm sorry. For most of us, that would be about 15 minutes, but they're not going to have to stop. There's not going to be any traffic.
A little shorter.
Yeah, they'll be able to get it done pretty quickly. So they're on their way to Naples Municipal Airport, where we anticipate, I suppose, the president will get in a helicopter, fly back to RSW, where Air Force One is waiting, and then he'll head back to D.C.
Back to D.C. So a short visit. I mean, here for only a few hours, landed around 10:40, and he's leaving Naples Estates now at 12:45. So we will be returning you to regular programming. You go to his get the latest on fox4now.com, and when he leaves RSW, we'll also check back in with him as well.